joining us today. I'm Mike Merriman, Chairman of the Board of Directors of John Carroll University. As a 1978 alumnus and father of a 2009 John Carroll graduate, I know firsthand how John Carroll's mission inspires individuals to excel at learning, leadership, and service in the region and in the world. I've served on the board for a total of 19 years. Hard to believe that, right? But I rejoined the board in 2014, and I became chairman in 2015. And during my time serving this community, the university has successfully tackled many significant challenges while remaining true to its Jesuit mission and Catholic identity. The contemporary landscape of American higher education today faces intense challenges. These challenges are due to several significant forces that are outside of our control, including demographics, escalating costs, compliance, relevance. The cost challenges in higher education are well documented. Students and parents are more price sensitive about college and wonder if higher education is the key to securing a good job and thriving in a productive adult life. Some leaders claim that a four-year college degree does not prepare students for 21st century careers. The slow response on the part of some institutions in addressing these spiraling costs have provoked government agencies to require greater compliance reporting focused on institutional performance. As I look at Todd Bruce. These increasing costs and continuing compliance burdens have produced questions about the relevance of college, especially a liberal arts education. We know that a college education grounded in the liberal arts and sciences provides a solid foundation for not just a rewarding career, but more importantly, a life of purpose as a citizen of the 21st century. Institutions of higher education must take control of this dialogue and extol the lifelong virtues of a liberal arts education. And this is one of the primary responsibilities of college leaders today. Making the case for higher education, especially the form of education that we provide our students, is increasingly challenging at John Carroll. The higher education environment in Ohio, in particular, is highly competitive due to the shrinking demographic and pool of high school seniors, which is expected to continue to decline. Additionally, our region is filled with faith-based institutions who also claim that they educate the whole person, provide a transformative education, and prepare students for 21st century careers. The Wall Street Journal just reported last week that U.S. colleges are separating between winners and losers. And they cited some of these same challenges, including, let me quote, because the demographic dip is so pronounced in the Midwest and the Northeast, lower-ranking schools are the most vulnerable to enrollment declines. Schools in Pennsylvania and Ohio and New York made up a quarter of the 237 schools nationally that saw a 10% or more decline in enrollment between 2011 and 2016. The good news is the Wall Street Journal also ranked 1,052 universities across the country that have more than 1,000 students enrolled. And John Carroll's outcomes placed him in the top 20% nationally of these 1,052 schools. And overall, John Carroll was ranked in the top 25%. So the job that our professors, our staff, and you, the students, are doing in the classroom comes out with the outcomes we're having, which are just phenomenal. But it was important for the future of John Carroll that we found the leadership necessary to carry us forward to bring John Carroll to a place of not just surviving, but thriving. 9 months ago, our presidential search committee set out to find a leader who could face these challenges head on, help implement our current strategic plan, and who had the prior transformational experience, outside perspective, and vision to help craft the next strategic plan in 2020. With the help of a national search firm, Isaacson Miller, the search committee reviewed candidates from across the country from public and private universities and from diverse academic backgrounds. It was critical that the candidates demonstrate a strong commitment to the Catholic faith and be respected scholars who understand what it takes to invest and build in academic programs of distinction. Above all, we wanted candidates who would enthusiastically embrace our Jesuit mission of educating the whole person in the liberal arts tradition while helping develop men and women for others, men and women called to lead and to serve in the world. Before formally introducing our next president, I want to take a moment and thank Dr. Jean Colleran for her service as interim president, for her 4 years in university leadership, and her more than 30 years of dedicated service to the students, to our faculty, and to the staff of John Carroll. Dr. Colleran has worked tirelessly to address the HLC accreditation and budget challenges, ensuring that John Carroll University is able to invest in academic excellence for years to come. Dr. Colleran's ability to elevate ideas into action and leverage partnerships have helped John Carroll develop and strengthen some of our most distinctive programs in pre-health, pre-law, and sports studies. Dr. Colleran is the only university faculty member to win all 3 of its major awards: the Colicchio Award for Teaching Excellence in the College of Arts and Sciences, the Curtis Miles Award for Service, and the university's Distinguished Faculty Award. These awards, as well as her and her husband Richard's support, generous support, for the Colleran Weaver Research Fellowships, reflect her lifelong commitment to our students and to our university. We owe Dr. Colleran an immeasurable debt of gratitude, and the university is forever changed for the better because of her service and leadership. Jean, I want to thank you. The work you have done has formed a solid foundation from which we can continue to advance the promise and prominence of John Carroll University. I also want to recognize members of the senior leadership team who have been strong advocates and leaders for and within the university during this past year. Thank you for your support and guidance during this transitional period. I also want to recognize members of the Presidential Search Committee and the university feedback groups who dedicated countless hours and weekends to the search process. Thank you for your preparation, your thoughtful questions, and your feedback. So now let's get to why we are here today. Our next president was born in North Dakota, raised in Wisconsin, graduated from the University of Wisconsin with a degree in psychology, and received his master's and doctorate from the University of Chicago. Our next president began his teaching career at the University of Michigan, serving for 24 years as a professor of marketing. He was then hired as dean of the Cornell School of Hotel Administration, where he served for the maximum 10 years, bolstering its reputation as a global leader in the hospitality education. Most recently, he served as provost of Babson College, the top-ranked school for entrepreneurship in the United States. He's a transformative academic leader and scholar who has brought greater transparency and collaboration to each of the institutions that he has served. His ability to create new revenue streams, recruit international students, and his outstanding track record in fundraising will enable John Carroll to continue to invest in our faculty and academic programs while raising the profile of the university to prospective students, parents, alumni, and in the greater community at large. The University Board of Directors, senior leadership team, and the Presidential Search Committee are proud to welcome him to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of John Carroll University, Dr. Michael Johnson.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to be before you today as the President-elect of John Carroll University. My wife, Jill, who's with us here today, is over here, and are excited to become members not only of this community, but the greater Cleveland community. I owe gratitude as well to the people who are involved in this process, to the Presidential Search Committee, Mike Merriman as its chair, to the Jesuits who've come before me, and Jean in this role. Father Niehoff was the president for 12 years. The Jesuits who came before him, they're all giants here at John Carroll University. And Jean for her 30 years of service to this university. I want to thank them all and hope that I can follow in their legacy in terms of leaders here at the university. So how did Jill and I get here? Mike laid out a little bit of the path, but again, it started actually in a small farm town in North Dakota, where my father was a general practitioner in St. Andrew's Hospital up near the Canadian border. We moved within a couple years of my life to Madison, Wisconsin, where I grew up, and I was an undergraduate degree in economics and psychology there. Got a very good liberal arts education at Wisconsin. Moved on to Chicago, so notice I'm starting to move east here. Moved on to, but you know, Cleveland will end up being the farthest south that we've been. On to Ann Arbor, so up to Ann Arbor for 24 years. We never thought we would leave Ann Arbor, but then we had an opportunity to go to Cornell. So after getting my arts degree at Wisconsin and my professional degrees at Chicago and then moving on to Michigan, I met Jill in Michigan. She was a graduate of the Michigan Law School. That's where we started our life together. That's where we had our 3 sons. They were all born in Ann Arbor. So Alexander, Andrew, and Thomas. Alex, they all have gone to Cornell University. Cornell has been a gift to our family in moving to Ithaca, New York. And Alex right now is a banker in New York City and played football for the Big Red, so he was a wide receiver at Cornell. Andrew's a little closer to our new home. Andrew followed his brother up onto East Hill and was a tight end at Cornell. He's now a scout for the Cincinnati Bengals. So he's not too far away. And for those of you who follow the NFL, he's very busy right now. He's at the NFL Combine, helping the scouts. And our Thomas is on leave this semester. He's study abroad in Barcelona, where he's running into students from schools all over the United States. And our VP of Mission and Identity, Ed Peck, gave him an idea to go visit a cathedral. He turned it into a class project. All right, so thank you, Ed. Yeah. So we never thought that we would necessarily leave Ann Arbor. But then we had an opportunity to move to Ithaca and to go to Cornell. And Cornell is where I learned to be an academic leader. I was dean of a school at Cornell for 10 years, a place where I could help faculty and staff to develop opportunities for our students, to diversify our revenue streams, to develop a very unique value proposition, to promote greater diversity and inclusion both in our school and on campus. Now moving to Babson in Wellesley, Massachusetts has given me other opportunities. It's given me the opportunity to be the chief academic officer of a very comprehensive college. It's given me opportunity to work on projects that benefit students and faculty. One of those projects right now is called the Weissman Foundry, which is a collaboration across 3 different colleges: Wellesley College in Wellesley, the Olin College of Engineering, so the engineering-focused faculty and students out there may have heard of Olin. It's a fascinating school. And Babson College are collaborating on a design and innovation center on our campus. So I get to work closely with the provosts from those 2 other schools. But those moves, you know, we talk to our friends who haven't moved quite as much as we have, and those moves, when we reflect on them, have made us better people as a result. We've met so many interesting people and had so many interesting experiences going from one place to another that it's just made our lives that much better. And again, who would think going from North Dakota to Wisconsin to Illinois to Michigan to New York to Massachusetts would lead us back to the sunny tropical southern shores of Lake Erie. But again, without doubt, raising our sons has been the best thing we've ever done. So we're very proud of them, and we're all happy to make this community and John Carroll University our new home. So our family is incredibly grateful for this, and when I first started learning about John Carroll, it became clear both about some of the challenges I've been thinking about for a few years now as an academic leader that Mike referred to, but also what the advantages are that John Carroll has. And there are some distinct challenges out there. The cost of higher education has been a major concern for many years. Any students who are in the lower income bracket families know they're surviving on loans and financial aid. And some of those sources of revenue to apply to those scholarships are not going to be so easy in the future. We're going to have to continue to work hard to be able to fund those. I worry about a shrinking middle class in our country because they're often paying higher for that education without necessarily the means to do it because they don't qualify for the same amounts of financial aid. So I worry about that. I have to applaud for all of the due diligence and throughout the whole process of interviewing here and learning about John Carroll. I want to applaud John Carroll for continuing to keep a university education affordable and have student access in the years to come. It won't be an easy task, but it's something we have to continue to do. Mike mentioned the demographic changes. It's interesting, our boys are 27, almost 25, and 21. 2 are millennials, 1 is a post-millennial or Generation Z. Our son Thomas grew up learning differently than his 2 older brothers. He grew up in a flipped classroom. He grew up having lectures online and discussions in class in high school. And so we could see the difference that's impacting things. It's what I sometimes call a cascading disruption, and it's coming squarely into a 4-year college education. These shifts are now impacting all levels of education, and we're going to, as our students continue, as the baby boom continues to grow older, we're going to have to continue to follow those students throughout their careers. This notion of lifelong learning that a lot of colleges and universities have talked about for years, we have to take very, very seriously. Mike mentioned that John Carroll's in a hotbed of competition, 100 universities in the state of Ohio. Midwest public universities trying very hard to keep their students in state. You just go to where we're coming from, Boston, there's 70-some colleges and universities just in the Boston area. So there's competition not terribly far away. Our advantage, though, starts with our Jesuit heritage. We're one of just 28 Jesuit universities, and that is a very, very special thing. The more and more I've come to learn about the Jesuit and Jesuit history, the more I have come to love and respect the Jesuits. I have a T-shirt to prove it. It says, "I love the Jesuits, John Carroll University." I am committed, as president, to ensuring that future generations of Blue Streaks understand the importance of the liberal arts education grounded in the humanities, the meaning of a faith that does justice, and that seeking the Magus involves choosing the greater good. As I learn more and more, I'm learning more about issues that also strike very close to my heart: social justice, solidarity, that underpin John Carroll's work towards increasing diversity and inclusion. We must remain steadfast in creating a diverse and inclusive community where all people, no matter of their race, ethnicity, culture, gender, ability, privilege, sexual orientation, political ideology, religious affiliation, or citizenship, feel welcome, and all individuals are treated with dignity and respect. Its placement in the center of our building, our seal, which the camera is on right now, is symbolic of the importance of inclusion to our community. To achieve our mission as an institution of higher learning, we must ensure that no one is excluded from the community and that all feel welcome. Now, our academic excellence is bolstered by other investments that this university has and will make in programs, faculty, and students. Our integrated core, to me, is another significant advantage. A core that's grounded in the liberal arts and sciences that helps our students understand what I like to call, for short, self and context. That is incredibly important. The values-based education that our Boulder School of Business provides ensures that our students enter the business world as inspired leaders. And just to name a few, because I can't name them all, but our programs in healthcare and healthcare IT, exercise science and sports studies, psychology, interdisciplinary studies, clinical mental health counseling, and nonprofit administration capitalize on our strengths and meet market demand. This is those outcomes that Mike was referring to earlier. All of these programs push our students to think critically and challenge them to understand and transform the world around them. But arguably, one of the most important reasons why I was attracted to John Carroll University is how this mission transforms our students. I had the great pleasure of meeting two students in the search process. One was Zachary Thomas, a senior from the Washington, D.C. area, who is majoring in English and creative writing. He's an Arupe scholar, a CSSA liaison, and an immersion leader. Still, somehow he managed in his spare time to work with other students and faculty to create the Writers in Residence program at the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center. Cuyahoga, did I get it right? Good, good. And the Cuyahoga Hills Juvenile Correctional Facility. I also met Hannah Meisner. So Hannah is from Ohio. She's majoring in marketing, and twice has been named All-Ohio Athletic Conference softball player and earned distinction as National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Scholar Athlete. When I asked Zach and Hannah to tell me about their John Carroll experience, Hannah immediately said, "I love my John Carroll experience." She just didn't say, "I love my John Carroll experience," or "It's okay, it's her fine." She loved her experience here, as does Zach. So that told me right away what an impact that this faculty, staff, and university has on its student. So I applaud you all for the transformative impact that you've had on our students and will continue to have. You not only teach them, you mentor them, you challenge them, and you support them as whole persons. We must do everything we can to make sure the Zachs and Hannahs continue to love their experience and leave John Carroll with their minds expanded and their hearts on fire, to love and to serve the world. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible in the weeks and months to come and working with you for years to come, and I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.